Well, for me, AES was really created about 40 years ago when I became painfully aware as a college professor that I was more of a resource for students who looked like me than for students who didn't look like me. And I decided it was time to learn more of what I needed to learn. And I found myself turning to first to other faculty, but ultimately to a student in my own class who I'd learned that I could trust to be more interested in helping me learn than in putting me down for what I didn't know. That student in my class was Charles Carter.
And you know, for me, I think the evolution and the creation of AES, it really was about the relationship and the friendship that Bernie, Amy, and I shared. I think it was about the conversations and the opportunities to have real conversations about how, if we had an opportunity, could we make an impact, especially in higher education and in the political structure back in the day. But what at the center of it all then, and at the center of what it is now, it's about our relationship. Our relationship has been about really telling the truth and really exploring the possibilities of real deep relationships that can help us grow, but at the same time to be able to transcend our relationship so that others would be able to grow into that relationship with us. You know, I think anyone that knows anything about AES knows the three core principles that are really foundation of who we are. And there's some research that Bernie found back in the day that the Claremont Mud Schools did that talked about three principles for creating inclusivity. And it's about being respected, connected, and affirmed. That's the foundation of our relationship. And I think that's the heart of what was the genesis of everything that followed the last 40 years of our relationship.
Well, just in terms of that lag between 40 years and 27 years, I have to admit that we spent the first few years as we learned more, not only about our own knowledge or lack of it, but how systems were implicated. We spent a good number of years complaining about how awful it was, and then finally decided that, well, if nobody else was doing something about it, let's us try. And by that time, Amy had taken a job at the state capitol, so the whole idea of moving systems, not just benefiting young people through programs, would have to be a part of it.
You know, I still, over the last 27 years, I think the core foundation of who we are remains the same. I think when we really first entered into this work, it was really looking at how we can really impact the cross-cultural aspects of what was going on in our country at that time. Everyone was doing diversity training, and it was about learning tolerance and learning ways in which to be culturally proficient in the work that people were doing. That was the buzz that was going on. And we recognized through that process that was something that we had to offer. But at the same time, we recognized that the missing piece then, and I still think the missing piece now, is that it's not only about us being able to impact our own individual realities, our own world. It's about being able to impact systems that would be able to incorporate some of what it is that we find valuable in being able to create an inclusive environment. And I think how that's happened is that it's not just about us doing diversity training. It is about us really empowering and looking at young people and how they can be the answer and the solution to some of what it is that we're trying to get done. That sometimes the systems are going to respond better to what young people have to say than they are going to respond to Bernie and I in relationship to true change. And so our work has shifted from not only, we still focus on systems change, but we do it a lot more. I think we're a lot more conscientious about working with young people and teaching them how to do that so it's sustainable. So when we talk about sustainable change, no matter what happens to Bernie and I, we hope and we know we have planted seeds throughout our tenure together that there are young people out there everywhere that basically we've had an opportunity and have been blessed to be a part of their lives that are out there doing this work. And so we really feel that we're creating that systemic change, slowly but surely. But that's where I think the biggest change has come, is that it's not just us. Now we're empowering youth to move forward.
For me, what hasn't changed, obviously, are people's needs. Those remain the same. How well we do in terms of helping them to meet those needs has changed as we've developed more and more tools. But some other things that don't ever change have to do with the choice that if you're really going to help, you have to make. You got to choose whether you want to be right or whether you want to be effective. And one of the things that has always impressed me about CC is knowing what it's like. He consistently chooses to be effective over just being right.
There are two primary things for me, and it goes back to what I said initially. The foundation of AES has been the stability and this magic that's happened in the friendship that Bernie, myself, and Amy developed at a very early phase of our lives, and how that has grown, and it's evolved over time because we've gotten older in a lot of different ways. But the friendship and the core and the love that we share, and our ability to not only share in our friendship, but also share in our passion to continue to do this work, has been something I'm very, very proud of and very blessed to have in my life. Personally, the second thing that is I think I'm the proudest of is that it's not about us. It's about the people that we've had an opportunity to interact with in our lives, especially the young folks, that really get it and that are out there doing phenomenal things. I think any educator, anybody that's in education, would hope that what they teach and how they touch young folks is then transcended into how they activate that in their lives. And I think Bernie and I have been very much truly blessed with the phenomenal people that are out there doing this work. That I'm proud to say that I'm proud of them, and I'm proud to say that they are our friends.
What come to mind are two things for me as well. One is through ups and downs, we've never lost our integrity, both individually and as an organization. Stephen Covey talks about change happens at the speed of trust. And, I'm very proud that we've been trustworthy throughout the life of AES. The second CC touched on already is that we discovered the power of young people. not to just be seen as clients, but to be seen as contributors, and not as just mentees, but mentors of not only of one another, but of we adults as well.
I'm most excited about seeing a legacy, seeing the DeVito Leadership Center emerge and really become the hub and the place that all of what we've put to work in our careers will sort of manifest itself out of this center, and that the next generation of leaders, administrators, change agents will come through that center and will continue to do the work that's important to them, representing the time and the issues that are important to improving the lives of the folks that they serve. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to see that happen and that facility to be up and running.
What I'm most excited about is the prospect of AES continuing beyond us. I agree with the blooper that it'll be nice to be able to spend some time relaxing, but to know that AES's work will go on beyond our direct contribution is pretty darn exciting, because in that sense we're just getting started.